This is a webinar funnel on steroids. I'm going to break down for you the second high ticket funnel that is proven to work time and time again, getting 3 times or more ROAS on ad spend. So let's break down the webinar funnel. Now, if you think this is a standard webinar funnel, think again, because this is not just an ordinary webinar funnel. This is a webinar funnel on steroids, okay? So today I want to show you this ultimate webinar funnel that we use for our clients on Radical Marketing, which is why our clients consistently generate high ROAS on their webinar. So let's break down every component for you so you can see clearly what kind of funnel we are talking about to get this steroid up webinar funnel happening for you and generating you more revenue. For starters, we will drive cold traffic usually, or warmed up traffic from Facebook or YouTube ads to a landing page. So nothing new here. Basically, you want to make sure your landing page is optimized and always tested. Make sure ads are always optimized and always tested, right? That goes without saying. And then what happens next is where the magic starts, which is instead of just them entering their details and registering straight for the webinar and going to a thank you page straight away, is that we insert a questionnaire page. Now, why do we insert a questionnaire page? Because number one, this gives us valuable data on the type of traffic that each ad is generating for us. For example, certain ads that we generate that we think is a great hook and is generating good CPLs, but it may actually be giving us very low quality leads. Like, for example, the income is really bad or they're jobless. So those are not the type of leads we want to track in general for our clients, right? So that's where this questionnaire page serves to kind of filter out which ads are actually generating us the ideal type of customers that we want. The second thing about having this questionnaire page, which is fairly long, we usually ask about 8 to 10 questions, is that we are getting commitment from the people who sign up to actually show up. In these instances where we have people filling in the questionnaire page, we have a much higher attendance rate at the webinars of up to even 50% higher attendance rates, because if they invest the time to actually enter all the details on the questionnaire page, the chances of them showing up is much higher because they invested maybe 5 minutes to fill up all the questions because they're committed, right? If you craft the questions right, you will stimulate a bit of curiosity and a bit of desire to want to learn the things that will help them to overcome the problems or the challenges that they have right now. So that questionnaire page is super important. Now, some of our clients would like to liquidate some of their ad spend upfront. So after the questionnaire page, what we often have is a one-time offer page where we might sell a low ticket offer ranging from $7 to $27, right? And that could be a digital product, the replay or VIP access or something like that, right? Where we kind of like make some sales up front to liquidate some of the ad spend. In certain cases, we may also have an order bump in addition to that low ticket offer. So the order bump might range from $77 to $97, some cases up to $200, right? Where we have a order bump in addition to like the low ticket offer. This would help us to further liquidate more of our ad spend. And the other purpose of having this is also if people pay money upfront, the chances of them showing up and then buying something later on is also much higher. And here the smart marketer will think, okay, why don't I just include like people buy something here, they will get a discount at the webinar if they buy the high ticket offer, right? So that's also possible as well, right? So these are just the first few steps in the funnel, okay? Then the next step is obviously the thank you page. And in the thank you page, you want to say, hey, make sure you check your email because you're going to get this from us, and make sure they download any bonuses and also sign up for maybe your Facebook group, your Telegram group, or whatever it is, so that you have more opportunities to communicate with them. And I think the thank you page is also a great opportunity for you to create a video to actually welcome them to the event and remind them of the benefits of attending your event. Now, why do you want to do a video? The reason you want to do a video is you want to build trust and familiarity, because once they see you on the thank you page, they are somewhat familiar with you. And if you have this really cool, genuine type of personality, I think that is where you can start building rapport through your video so that they are more likely to attend your webinar as well. Okay, so that's the thank you page. I'm going a bit fast because there's so much to cover here, and I'm trying to cover this in a shorter period of of time as possible. Now, the next step is obviously once they have gone through that whole process, they now become a lead. Now, there is a high chance, well, there is, usually between anywhere from 20 to 40+% of the people will show up to your webinar or your event. And at the event, obviously, you can pitch them whatever you want to pitch, right? Your high ticket offer. So that's pretty straightforward. That's one half for them to go to. Now, what about the remaining 70% or so, thereabouts, of people who do not attend the webinar? We don't want to waste them, right? And this is where the magic happens. This is where you need to add them to your email list, right? And first of all, what you want to do once they're on your list, you want to basically try to get them back to the live webinar, okay? That's one thing you can do. And what we often structure here is like a 2-week to 30-day sequence after the event, right? That is aimed to generate more sales after the webinar itself, okay? So I just mentioned there's one way you can go about it, which is getting them back to the next webinar that you're hosting, maybe in a week or a few weeks. Now, what if they do not want to go to your webinar? Then the other thing I would suggest is you can also send them, after webinar happens, to a summary of the webinar. Now, if your webinar is one of those 2-day webinars or a 2-hour-long webinar, you can do a short summary, right? You can do like a 20-minute summary of the webinar. This is geared towards those people who are too busy, but they want the information, and you just summarize this 20-minute webinar for them, right? Obviously, at that 20-minute thing, you can obviously pitch them your product as well, right? And the other thing is you also want to send them to a webinar replay as well in some cases. Depending on your strategy, you might want to send them to a replay of your webinar, which often works. So some people who really want to see your webinar will watch the replay. Like for me, I often sign up for webinars and I end up watching the replay because I just sometimes get too busy to actually watch a webinar live, right? And from that, you can also generate sales. Now, the next thing you can also do in your 30-day sequence after that is to send them to maybe a lead magnet where they can go and download a lead magnet, which is, a lead magnet of a checklist of what you taught at your webinar. Okay, you don't have to create new content, but you can repurpose your webinar's content to say, hey, I've summed up my webinar into like a 7-point checklist, right? Which you can download here, and you can send them to that generic page, get them to download the lead magnet, and then from there you have a sequence that invites them to an interview or something like that, where you can have that one-on-one consult with people, and then sell your high ticket offer. Now, if you're still following me, right, the next part of the sequence is that you could send them to a blog post, right? Which could be also related to the topic you're talking about at your webinar, right? So instead of like presenting in a webinar format, you basically get someone or ChatGPT to actually create a blog post from the content of your webinar. It can be like a 2,000-word blog post, thereabouts, 3,000-word blog post. Send them to the blog post. Some people prefer to read in their own time, wherever they are before they sleep. And then, that you could have a call to action at the end of the blog post where you're encouraging them to book a one-on-one appointment or consult with you. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward, right? The other thing you could do is you can invite them straight to your calendar and say, hey, look, I'm looking for 3 people to work with this month to generate X amount of money using my new system that has worked for X amount of people. If you're interested, and let's see whether we have right fit, book a time into calendar and we'll have a chat, right? Something along those lines could work. Sending them to your calendar as part of your post-webinar sequence, that could totally work too, okay? And then the other thing you could do is that you could send them to the order page, which is a countdown page, right? Where you have it's like, right, guys, we're just going to have this countdown and, this offer is going to close because it's going to close at some point in time. And next time we open this, we might increase the prices or we won't have this bonus or whatever it is, right? So that is the next thing you could send them to. And this creates a bit of a deadline, which is great for creating urgency, and people tend to act because there's that urgency, right? So that could be the last part of your email sequence, right? In this 30 days. The other thing you could do before you have that close card sequence, you could have a quiz where you basically have a quiz funnel. It's a diagnostic kind of thing to help them identify a little bit of the problems. And then from there, by identifying the problems, you could have have some type of quick solution, and the call to action could be, hey, to get more information on your particular situation where we can solve this challenge for you, why not book in a one-on-one call with us, and then let's see whether we can help you out, right? So there's all these creative things that you can do after the webinar happens. And the thing is, most people don't do any of this, because the max they'll do is like, hey, after the webinar, send out a replay and close cart, and that's about it. But there's all these other things you could do. And, while you're doing it, you're creating rapport, you're building credibility, you're adding value to them as well, right? So all these things you could incorporate as part of your 14-day to 30-day sequence after the webinar has ended, okay? I am sure will help you boost your sales by at least 50% compared to just having, your standard webinar and then webinar replay kind of funnel. So that's why I call it the ultimate webinar funnel, because it is pretty awesome, right? The other thing is, if you want to really go crazy on this, is that all those things that I talked about just now, the webinar summary, the replay, the lead magnet, the blog posts, calendar, the closed cart order page, the quiz, all that stuff, you can use Facebook and Google Ads to retarget everyone who has already signed up to your list, right? So by using this retargeting tools on these various ad platforms, you will get more people to actually sign up for those things, right? And as a result, you will definitely get more inquiries for your high ticket offer. So guys, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward once you look at it from a high level view, but it does require a bit of effort, and there's certain nuances in each of these that you really need to get right in order to make this really, really profitable for you. But regardless, even if you just implement the post webinar sequence that I just described, I am sure you will get much, much more sales from your webinar, and you build a much stronger community with the people who have signed up for your webinar but did not show up. Okay, so this is how to maximize the value of your webinar funnel, and I hope this was useful for you. Now, if you're thinking, Terrence, this is way too complicated for me, way too much work, is there any chance that you guys could do this for me? Well, the good news is yes, but we only accept one client per month, because as you can see, this is a very, very involved project to build out a whole funnel like this. So yeah, if you think that this is something that you want us to help you with, why not book a call with us? I'm sure the links are somewhere below in the podcast show notes or in the YouTube description. Just click on it and let's have a friendly chat, no obligation, and see whether we can work together.
Check out our other high-ticket coaching funnel series here on the screen, and reach out to us if you want to know how to apply it in your business.
So thanks for watching this, and I'll see you in the next episode.